Thank you, gentlemen. What is up, Reboot? You guys are going, hey, he talks funny. I'm not Australian, if you haven't guessed. I moved here from the States back in December, so I'm fairly new to Tassie and Australia. Move my stuff around here. My wife and I moved here to Australia recently, but we visited Australia about 5 years ago. And we flew into Sydney, and it was World Youth Day. It was crazy. The Pope was in town, the airport was bananas. We got to our destination, I watched the news that night, and people were fairly upset because with the Pope in town, he was supposed to drive through and do his little Pope blessing. Well, he was running behind, so they had to fly through the city pretty quickly. And I guess the people got the quick drive-by Pope blessing. They were pretty ticked off about it. I thought it was hilarious because I pictured the Pope in the back of the little Pope-mobile with his face smashed against the wall, zooming through the streets of Sydney. But the whole Pope-mobile, you guys see the Pope-mobile? Where did the concept for this come from? You know, where the Vatican gift shop was like, we've got all these snow globes that just aren't selling. You know, and we was like, hey, what if we put the Pope in the biggest snow globe and drive him through the streets and he can wave to the people can wave to the Pope, and they want to buy the Pope in that snow globe, right? Good idea, Luigi. You're a brilliant man. And then there's little different models of the Pope-mobile. Here's what I found. That looks more like a dunk tank. Dunking the Pope with a prize, right? It could work. So there's some things I don't understand about the Catholic Church, which is okay because I have several friends that are Catholic and they don't understand the Catholic Church either. When I was in school, I had two friends that, it was first thing in the day, first class, and these girls show up, and I was like, girls, you have something right here. They're like, it's ashes. Like, did you put a cigarette on your forehead? Right now. No, it's Ash Wednesday. Okay. Why do you have ashes on your, what is that? And they're like, well, we went to Mass, and the priest put his fingers in the ashes and put a cross on her forehead. Why did you do this? They're like, because it's Ash Wednesday. You don't know what the heck you're doing. It's just, hey, it's a good idea. Let's go get some ashes on her forehead. So I was wanting to try Give Rick $20 Thursday, On Thursdays, you would give me a crisp $20 bill because it's Give Rick $20 Thursday. Same concept. It could work. Now, one thing I don't understand, the Catholic Church, they're fairly, several churches, they're very anti-gay in their theology, right? But here's where it gets weird. You look at some of the outfits that various ranking Catholic officials wear, and you can't tell me that's the work of a straight man. Somebody got some secrets going on here. There's some partner or somebody who's organizing this or something on the radar. Okay, so the priest, you guys are in this classic black. I put this little collar on you to signify you're a man of importance, but it's very classy, very subtle, but very powerful. Now, Cardinal, oh my goodness, we're just gonna give you these bright fuchsia costumes. They're not dresses, they're robes. We're gonna put a little hat on you, kind of like a little yarmulke, like a little Jewish man. And these masculine doilies on your neck. And now, here's where you can personalize it. You can get a different size cross. If you want to go subtle, you can go small. Or if you want to go all Flava Flav, you can go for it. Right? Now, Pope, now we're to you. Oh my goodness. We have this gold twirl that's going to go around here. And these little dark colors, they're going to make your eyes just pop. Oh, fascinating. And then we have to top it off with this big pointy hat that just says, hey, I'm the Pope, I'm the man, you better watch yourself. And we put these jewels in here, it looks fabulous. Actually, let's try it out right now. And, oh, you look Pope-alicious. Pope-alicious is the new word. Part of the problem is, all I ever see with the Catholic Church is a bunch of old white guys. It's like, to be Pope, you have to be over 90 and white, wrinkly old white guys. I think the Vatican needs to get on the wave, you know? America just had actually several years ago, had a black president now. It's time for the Vatican to get a black pope, right? Come on, get on the train. Bring some flavor to the Vatican, right? Come on. It's the only person who can put some swag to those clothes and make them look good, am I right? You know? But you probably have a little resistance, you know, white guy, those old white guys going, oh, you know, put a brim on the pope hat and turn it sideways. Don't be wrong, man. Or you could make the rosary cool. Wrap the rosary, right? Huh? Hail to the Mary, girl, full of grace. The Lord is with thee in this shining face. Girl, you know that you're blessed among all the ladies, and so is the fruit of thy womb, 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 womb. Jesus, Jesus. Yeah. All the sinners in the house say, ho. Say, amen. Amen. Say, go, Pope boy, go, Pope boy, go. Yeah. We're going north to south and side to side. All you non-Catholics better run and hide. I ain't playing games, I ain't no prankster. Watch out, y'all, because I'm the Pope gangster. I FaceTimed some of my black friends back in the States and was like, what do y'all think of this? They're like, that's cool. That's one thing I miss, you know. My church back in the States, it was really diverse, you know. We had about 45% black, 45% white, about 7-8% Hispanic, 2 to 3% miscellaneous or other. And we had a Canadian, Filipino, Indian, and Asian. We had a couple other cultures there, so it was an awesome group. Don't get a lot of that down here in Tassie, you know. I remember telling my friends, we moved here in December, and even though it's summertime, there's no chance of snow, we were definitely going to have a white Christmas, you know. It's a honky town down here, guys. Not too culturally diverse in Tassie. Well, it's funny though, when I would tell people I was moving, a lot of times I'd say I'm moving to Australia, but sometimes I'd mess with people and say I was moving to Tasmania. And she'd always get that look like, Tasmania, yeah. Is that near Afghanistan? It's like, yes, it's in the middle of Saudi Arabia. That's where we're going. But Tassie's really cool, you know, the no worries, that's the thing I've kind of incorporated into my vocabulary. No worries, mate, no worries. It's like Hakuna Matata all year long, right? It's no worries, mate. It does cause some issues, though, you know, like one of the things, in the States we had a satellite and we had like the program guide and you could set it to record certain shows. Here, the program guide is kind of like more of like a rough estimate. You know? If something's supposed to come on at 7:30, it might come on at 7:30, it might come on at 7:45. No worries, mate, it'll come on sometime. No worries. We were trying to record, I don't know, it was Australia's Got Talent, and we had it set to record 20 minutes past the ending time, and we still missed at least like half the show. So it's like, no worries, man, it'll come through. The other thing, coming soon meant something different to me. Like in the States, I thought coming soon meant within a week, 2 weeks, maybe a month. We moved here in December and had the coming soon arrow, coming soon to win. Or the crazy, crazy, crazy till we see the sun. The Great Australian Bake Off, coming soon. Those shows didn't come on till July. 6-7 months, mate. It's all good. No worries. Seriously. And I don't know who, there's somebody in Australian history that really gave you guys a few extra worries, actually. Whoever put the trolleys together at the grocery store, they must have started, they put this little spinning wheel on the back, and then they must have been too far along and then looked at the directions and said, oh, mate, I should have put them on the front. No worries, it'll be all right. I can't tell you how much easier it is to drive a trolley when the wheels spin on the front. It is so much more difficult. I live in Laguna, so Woolies is on like a hill, so if you have a basket full of groceries, you can walk like this. It is definitely some worries there. I think we need to get I've seen the Liberal for Bass people or something. We need to be like, hey man, let's switch those trolley wheels around. It'll really make less worries. Now, the Australian accent, oh, it's one of the best, man. In the States, we love the Australian accent. Yeah, it's awesome. Did you like mine earlier? Like, good night, mate. Don't worry about it. But Australians, especially in Tasmania, also love the American accent, especially those that reboot on Tuesday, right? Yes. Little suggestion. Good. Now, I love the accent, but occasionally I've met, which I tend to speak fast being from America, so that sometimes makes a challenge in communication, but occasionally at the office I've run into what I call Sylvester Stallone blokes. No. These are the guys whose accent is so thick and they don't use consonants. They're like, hey, how you doing? And they're like, well, how's it going? How you doing? Pardon? What was that? There's only so many times you can ask somebody to repeat something. And after his second run through, I gained no new information. And what's funny is the only word that made any sense was vertebrae. It's the easiest word in the language to say. So that's why I had to use my mad doctor skills and be like, okay, obviously there's some sort of vertebrae problem. We'll start there. Now, one thing that we've experienced a lot here in Tasmania, that there was some in the States, but where we live, we didn't deal with it, but the cyclist thing. Any cyclists here? Now, if you're a cyclist and you're a good cyclist, like one of these people here, you know, I took a picture of this morning on my way to work. I was like, you're a great visual aid for me. See, he's riding his little bike lane, he's getting his exercise, he's having a good old time. Good on him, more power to him. Now, here's a fairly bad cyclist, he's crossing the lane and making a little bit more of a challenge for traffic. Now, when I guess it was about 6 months to a year before I moved here, I saw the YouTube clip where there was like a car that just plowed through a bike race. Did you guys see that? Oh man, I saw it, it was like, my gosh, what the heck is going on? How could someone get to the point where they did that? And then I moved here. Now, I'm not justifying it by any means, but I'm saying I can understand. You know, it's kind of like shaken baby syndrome. If you talk to people that have no experience with kids, they're like, shaken baby syndrome, that's just stupid. Just don't shake the baby, duh. Well, you say that, and then you have a parent who hasn't slept, and the child's crying, and you change them and fed them, and they're crying, and you rock them, and you sing to them, and you take them for a car ride, and they're crying, and you haven't slept, and you're under that dark, and you just couldn't see how someone could shake the baby. Not that it's okay, but you can understand, right? So I'm not justifying any of this, I'm just saying it can happen. Now, cyclists, a lot of cyclists, you know, that one guy was a fairly bad cyclist, this guy here. Some bad cyclists, they are completely in the road. And they have their motto of, we're motorists too. You hear that? We're motorists too. No, you're not. To be a motorist, let's take a look at the word. An integral part of the word in being a motorist are these first 5 letters. Motor. If you don't have a motor, you're not a motorist. There are cyclists who are motorists. They drive motorcycles or motorbikes. Okay? Makes sense? Right. That makes sense to me. So, yeah, the cyclist thing drives me crazy. You know, a motorist has to like follow rules of the road. You don't get to run through red lights or do a U-turn in the middle of the road whenever you feel like it. These are all signs that you're not a motorist. They say, well, my heart, lungs, and legs are my motor, man. Well, that may be so, but if your heart, lungs, and legs can't go the speed limit, you're still not a motorist. I can fly a paper airplane. That don't make me a pilot. Right? Say that. Am I offending any cyclists yet? Now, cyclists do make my day every now and then. I don't know if you've seen let's see, I'll have to remove this guitar. Have you seen the bloke that's too big for the bike? It's like they don't make a bike his size, and he can't get into optimal bike riding position, and so he's in this like, legs are all picked up on the side. That is hilarious. It looks like one of those bears riding a tricycle in the circus. Oh, that sets me up for the rest of the day. That is heavenly. Now, did you guys ever play The Floor is Lava? You guys familiar with that game? Everybody? Yes, good. I wasn't sure if it was just a U.S. thing or not. But yeah, if you didn't play The Floor is Lava, you missed out. It was a fun game as a kid. You said, the floor is lava, and you like jump from the couch to the chair. And if you stepped on the floor, you had to step on like a piece of paper. And if you missed it, it's like, oh, your leg's gone, you know. It's cute as a kid. But have you seen an adult cyclist play The Road is Lava? No? It's usually at a stoplight, and they can't run the light because there's cross traffic. But they sit up on their bike and they won't put their legs down. I'm like, look like a monkey humping a ball or something else. It is hilarious. That makes my day too. So, one day, I don't know if you guys think this is funny. I thought it was good on my way home a couple months ago. When it's warmer, you get a lot more cyclists out. And I was thinking to myself, if I was offered a superpower, but I had to waste it, like I couldn't do it to improve humanity or make myself rich or anything. If I had a superpower that I could just blow on something, what would it be? And I was thinking, I would love to have these mad bike riding skills, that I could ride any bike better than anybody else. So I could get me like a girl's bike from Kmart with streamers on the handles, a basket full of kittens, take the water bottle off, put a bottle of wine, something like that, one gear, and fly by those dudes on the West Tamar that have spent like $10,000 on the 3-gram bike. You know, they're wearing their spandex suit that shoves their gonads into their throat, you know. They got their fake sponsorship stuff, all that kind of stuff. And just fly past them and just imagining what their face would be like. Oh, that really gives me a warm feeling. Show those motors. I would even ride on the side of the road in the dirt, man, just to show them. The motorists. They're more like specialists, because they're very special. That's why they wear helmets. I'm going too far. Now, one thing I do love about Tasmania is it's kind of like the 80s here. And that's a good thing. People think we're backwards here. No, it's cool. It's kind of like the 80s with iPads, you know? I think we need to get the state slogan changed from Explore Tasmania to Tasmania. It's like the 80s with iPads. I think it boosts the tourism, man. Because the 80s, which I was a child of the 80s. You guys are probably children of the 90s? Yeah? Any 80s people out there? Oh, good. There's a couple of it. The 80s were like the pinnacle of humanity. I mean, it was the best ever. And if you're a child of the 90s, you missed it. It's okay. You won't be disappointed by all the subsequent generations. I mean, the 80s was the best ever. The music in the 80s was awesome. I loved it all. Huey Lewis and the News, Motley Crue, Bon Jovi, Poison. Michael Jackson was black in the 80s, and he did some good stuff. I even like Air Supply. You guys didn't know, so you can't judge me on that one. But I did bring up a picture so you guys can check out Air Supply. Come on, love, I'm so lost without you. These guys sang real high. You guys can laugh all you want. They're Australian. Oh man, shouldn't have laughed at them. But it was cool. The 80s were awesome. Now, even though I love the 80s and the 80s music, I wasn't always the best with the lyrics when it came to knowing the words of the songs. I remember we'd travel in the States, and any weekend, if you searched enough on the radio, you'd hear those 3 magic words. All 80s weekend. Oh, that's like the best, you know? And one time it's like, up next, Heat of the Moment. Heat of the Moment, yeah, good song. And then as it starts, you realize, I don't know any of the words to this. So it's like, just praying something comes. But it's the heat of the moment. Heat of the moment. In your eyes. Woo, yeah. The title in 2 words. Go me! Still a good song, still a good song. Now, growing up in the 80s, I know it was awesome. There was a lot more smoking and things in the 80s, and we had a lot of smoking in restaurants. Now, it wasn't until about 10, 15 years ago in the States that they quit doing the smoking in the restaurants. You guys, when did they do that here in Tennessee? You guys ever had the smoking in the restaurants? You guys ever had that? Yes, no?
Years ago.
Yeah? Now, ladies, you wouldn't have any experience with this, but as a young man going into the men's bathroom in the urinal, there's, sometimes there's cigarette butts, but occasionally you'd find that it was like half a cigarette. Oh man, that was awesome. It was like Mission Impossible.
Your mission, completely destroy the cigarette. Precise aiming is vital to the success of the mission.
And there's no feeling in the world, if you haven't experienced it, you'll spend, $80 for a pack of cigarettes and get one and throw it in your mouth. It's up there with experiences as far as like when my kids were born. I mean, it's that good. When you get that thing to bust, it's like, yeah! High-fiving the dude the next year and all that. It's like that thing they do at footy with the two-finger thing. Did I get that right? Yeah? What? It was awesome stuff. But you don't see that anymore. You might see a cigarette in a plant or something outside of Harvey Norman. They don't like you doing it. That's why I have to stay 100 meters from Harvey Norman. Now, some of my jokes do embarrass my wife. This is my lovely wife, Hannah, here, everybody. Last month, Hannah and I celebrated 15 years of marriage. Woo! Yeah. You should clap better than that. 15 years. It was tough stuff. It's easy for Hannah because she had the longest baby. I think the Australian pronunciation is Hannah. I think that's how we say it. But I'll play the drums in a second. No, but we've been married 15 years. I think compromise is one of the keys to a good marriage. For example, with movies. Occasionally, Hannah will watch an action movie with me. I think we went to the movies and watched Taken and Taken 2. That was cool. Kudos for Hannah, points for her. I've been known to watch a romantic comedy or a chick flick with her. Yeah, kudos for me. We watched one a couple weeks ago. And it was like these two people, and one really kind of always had a thing for the other one, but the other one never knew it, and they thought it was never going to happen, so they moved on. But then right when they moved on, the other person realized that the love they always wanted was right in front of them. And then it looked like it wasn't going to turn out, but then in the end, they threw caution to the wind, they shared their feelings, they fell in love, and they got together. It was called Every Romantic Comedy. Now, just to clarify, there's not a movie called Every Romantic Comedy. I did this joke about a year and a half ago at an event, and this one girl's friend was like, I haven't seen that. It's like, honey, you've seen it. It's called The Notebook, it's called Bridget Jones' Diary, it's called When Harry Met Sally. I mean, you've seen it, sister, I promise you. But you also have to have things that you won't compromise on. I think that's important too. So for me, it's musicals. I loathe musicals. I don't know if it's a guy thing or what. Any guys, musical fans? You can find clothes for the Pope. I don't understand musicals when people just break out into singing at random times. I mean, if Hawk introduced me and I got up here and was like, hello everybody, hello everyone, I'm going to tell some jokes and we're going to have fun. I'll make you laugh, I'll make you cry, I'll make you wet your pants. But in a musical, you don't just sing, you also start to dance. when does that happen? Never. I actually broke my compromise, it was a couple years ago. We went to my in-laws and they were watching The Sound of Music. And I was like, oh Lord, I don't even want to see this. They found out I had not seen The Sound of Music. And they're like, oh, you haven't seen The Sound of Music? You know, it's like I said, I clubbed baby seals for You have to watch it. You have to watch it. So I'm like, okay. So I sit down for a few minutes of I am 16 going on time. And then I do to you and you and you. Oh, I should have kept my compromise. So I was like, the only way this movie will end happy is if the Nazis get this family. You know? Please, come on, Nazis. The only time I've rooted for the Nazis. Give me a break. Yeah, that was the only way that would end happy. Oh, you guys have fun tonight? Good. Thank you guys. Awesome.